Accents. Most English-speaking folks aren't at all accustomed to using accents, but don't worry, we'll help you get the hang of them.
And we'll even throw in a dose of fun as well. What else would you expect from the standard deviants?
Listen up, here's the drill. First we'll go through some vocabulary words to get you warmed up. Then we'll dive right into capitalization. We'll take a look at when you need to capitalize Spanish words and when you don't. After that, we'll take on accents, including what they do and when to use them. Are you ready? Well, then let's take a look at some vocabulary.
Modo means manner or way, and americano means American. Modo americano means American way.
Café is coffee, and colombiano means Colombian. Café colombiano is Colombian coffee.
Loco means crazy.
Simpático means friendly.
Presidente means president.
And nombre is a Spanish word for name.
Rosa is a rose.
A rose for the lady, huh?
Sombrero means hat. It means any hat, not just the ones the turistas bring back from Tijuana. And nuevo is the adjective which means new.
Let's move on to the rules of capitalization in Spanish. It seems natural that anyone would capitalize words like the names of the days of the week, the months, and the pronoun I. Everyone does it, right? Wrong.
When you're writing in Spanish, the names of the days of the week and the names of the months are written with lowercase letters. They are not capitalized as they are in English.
We English speakers are a self-important lot. When we write about ourselves, we naturally capitalize the pronoun I.
In Spanish, the pronoun that means I is yo. According to the Spanish rules of capitalization, do not capitalize the pronoun yo. It is always written with a lowercase y.
Now it's time for a little grammar lesson.
Class, take out your grammar books. Proper nouns and adjectives refer to a specific person, place, thing, or quality.
This learning is great.
More education!
For example, in the phrase, "it's the American way," American is a proper adjective describing or modifying the noun way. According to the English rules of capitalization, the proper adjective American is capitalized.
American can also be used as a noun. If someone calls you a friendly American, that person is using the word American as a proper noun. In the phrase friendly American, friendly is the adjective that by itself could refer to any friendly person regardless of race, creed, nationality, or favorite variety of cheese. Friendly is not a proper adjective, so it's not capitalized. American is the word that gets specific. In this phrase, it's the proper noun, and according to the English rules of capitalization, American is capitalized.
However, this is not the case in Spanish. Billy, what are you doing with that monkey wrench?
Tightening the bolts on this desk to make it safer.
In Spanish, don't capitalize proper adjectives. For example, the American way is written el modo americano. Don't capitalize americano.
Notice that the noun modo, which means way or method, goes before the proper adjective americano.
Here's another example of a proper adjective you're probably familiar with. Colombian coffee.
In English, you capitalize Colombian when you write Colombian coffee, not in Spanish. Colombian coffee is written café colombiano. The C in colombiano is written in the lower case.
Proper nouns aren't capitalized in Spanish either. Let's go back to our example of the friendly American.
In Spanish, the friendly American is written el americano simpático. Don't capitalize the Spanish proper noun americano. Simpático is the Spanish equivalent of friendly, and of course, it's not capitalized either. Anybody can be simpático.
Here's the catch. In Spanish, as in English, when proper adjectives are part of a name, they are capitalized.
For example, in English, we capitalize all the words in United States of America. In Spanish, all those words are capitalized as well, because United States of America is a name. It's written Estados Unidos de América.
You didn't capitalize the word de.
In Spanish, de means of. As we know, is not worth capitalizing in any language.
In Spanish, like in English, capital letters are used at the beginning of sentences.
You also capitalize all proper names, like people's names and the names of cities and countries, in both Spanish and English. If it's a name, capitalize it. Simple as that.
People's titles, however, are not capitalized in Spanish as they are in English. For example, in English, we capitalize the word president when we write President Nixon. Not so in Spanish. You'd write El Presidente Nixon. Nixon is capitalized, of course, because it's a name, but his title, Presidente, is not capitalized.
The Spanish and English rules differ when it comes to capitalizing book titles, too. In Spanish, you only capitalize the first word of the title. In English, you capitalize them all.
Except words like of.
So, when you write the book title, The Name of the Rose, in English, you capitalize the first word of the title, the, even though it's a puny word. It's the first word, so it gets capitalized. You also capitalize name and rose because they are important words in the title. That's the way it works in English.
In Spanish, the book title, The Name of the Rose, is written El Nombre de la Rosa. Only the first letter of the first word of the title is capitalized.
Again, there's an exception to this rule, but it's an easy exception to remember.
If the title contains a proper name, like the name of a person or a country, you capitalize the name. That's easy to remember because you always capitalize names. For example, when you write the book title, Curious George Buys a New Hat in English, you capitalize everything except the puny little article A. In Spanish, you'd write the title like this, Curious George compra un sombrero nuevo. You capitalize curious because it's the first word of the title. You also capitalize George because it's a name. Granted, it's the name of a monkey, but it's a name nonetheless, so capitalize it.
Those are the main differences between rules of capitalization in Spanish and English. Now, let's move on to accents.
We're not going to teach you all the details about accents right now. However, there are some very important things that you should know at this point, so here they come.
There are rules in Spanish that dictate which syllable is supposed to be stressed in the pronunciation of a word. Just trust us. These rules exist, and you'll learn them in more advanced Spanish classes. For now, you need to know that one function of accents is to indicate an irregular stressed pattern in a word. To say it another way, if the word doesn't follow the regular rules for stressed syllables, you have to add an accent mark to the word to indicate the irregularly stressed syllable.
Think of the accents like they're letters in the word. If you don't put an accent where there ought to be one, you're spelling the word incorrectly.
There's another very important use of accents in Spanish. Sometimes, accents indicate a difference in meaning rather than a difference in pronunciation.
For example, the Spanish word solo without an accent means alone. The same word with an accent means only. Both words are pronounced alike. The accent in the second instance is there to indicate the difference in meaning.
Here's another example. The word sé without an accent mark is a reflexive pronoun. The word sé with an accent mark is a verb that means I know. In either case, you say the word the same way. The accent mark is there to indicate the difference in meaning. You have to put it there.
In Spanish, most of the question words, like the words for what and how many, are only question words when they have an accent mark. Without the accent mark, their meaning is different.
Review time. When you're writing in Spanish, the names of the days of the week and the names of the month are written with lowercase letters. You also don't capitalize the pronoun yo, which means I. It's always written with a lowercase y. In English, we capitalize proper adjectives such as the word American in the phrase the American way. In Spanish, you don't capitalize proper adjectives unless they're part of a proper name, in which case they are capitalized. Capitalize all proper names, including people's names. People's titles, however, are not capitalized in Spanish as they are in English. For book titles, you only capitalize the first word of the title, that is, unless the title contains a proper name. As we said, you always capitalize proper names. Now, there are a couple of things that you need to remember about accents. They indicate one of two things. Either the word has an irregular stress pattern, or the word can have two different meanings depending on whether or not it has the accent. Memorize accents as part of the spellings of words. It'll be easy for you.